Here's Baby Dot. I adore Baby Dot. She's a sweet little girl, and she's just got the most beautiful eyes. Sometimes you want to enhance the eyes even further just because they are so central to the image. But you do have to tread carefully because if you go too far, then it looks like Alien Baby. But let's go ahead and experiment and see what we can do and how then we can make it look realistic. All right, so let's duplicate the background. And let's zoom on to those baby blues. Oh, look at those. Now, in order to just adjust the eyes, I want to do something called an adjustment layer. So let's grab this little tool down here at the bottom, and we're going to do a curves adjustment. I like the curves adjustment because we are able to increase the contrast in the mid-range of colors. Let's go ahead and pull the brights brighter. And we're going to pull the darks a little darker. That's called an S curve. That looks pretty good, but look how it's affecting the whole image. That's not what we want. Since the mask is showing pure white, that means all of the adjustment that we're working on right now is coming through. So why don't we invert that mask, Command I, and now it's completely black. We can't see any of the changes we just made. Command I, I'll show you again. Those are the changes. Now, since the mask is black, we're not seeing anything. So let's paint back on the mask. Even though we're painting on the image, it's the mask over here that's being affected. So let's paint it white. Okay, opacity looks great. And look, we are painting white. And the adjustments and changes we've made are already peeking through. Now, how do we know that we've gotten all of the eyes and we've done a really great job of getting that mask? We can hit Option \, and then we can have the mask show up big and red just to make sure that we're getting it just perfect. There we go. There we go. Oh, and we caught some of her little eye down here. So let's switch our brush by hitting X to black to paint that back there. All right, I'm happy with how I've masked these eyes. You have to be careful not to get around the white part around the edge when we're making these adjustments because then you're going to get a white glowing ring, and that's just unattractive. Alrighty, so we've got the eyes here. They're a little bit bolder, but what if we wanted to be even more extreme and do some fun color changes to them? So let's come down here and let's do a hue saturation level. Okay, so remember we can up the saturation, but that affects the entire image, and that's not what we're looking for. So if we come and we push the line right between our hue saturation and our curves adjustment layers, and we hit the Alt or Option button, we can link those changes directly to the mask below and to the changes below. So that way we're still all within the same little avenue here. Now, since I'm making more than one adjustment on the eyes, I'm actually going to create a little folder here, and we're going to title this Eyes. And we're going to stick these two layers into that folder. Now, the advantage of doing this is I can turn off the eyes. Oops, we got to stick them into the folder. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Yay. Uh-oh. Let's come back up here. And we want to make sure we have a layer mask on there. We do. We're good. And we want to link it down just to the layer below. So that way, all of our changes are appearing just right here on the eyes, and I can click and unclick both layers on with just one button. Now, let's take it even farther, just for fun. All right, so we can double click back on here, and we can up the saturation even further. We can add some lightening to it, and if we wanted to, we can make some really funky colors, but let's bring that back to 0. All right. And we can do a curve. I can play with that curves adjustment some more. And we've got what people call alien baby eyes. So that is definitely not something that we're shooting for. But it's kind of fun to be able to see how to do it. Now, I don't like these changes as dramatic. So I'm going to come back over to the eyes, and I'm going to reduce the opacity of this layer down. Yep, there it is. At 100%, we see all of it. And when we reduce that down, it's getting more normal. But you know what? I kind of like the curves adjustment on this, but I don't necessarily think I like that much hue saturation changes. So if we come over to this layer here, we can see what happens when we click it on and off. Let's go here and let's lower the opacity just a little bit for this layer. We can adjust the curves adjustment on this layer too. But it's nice that I can adjust the opacity over the entire thing by playing with just the eyes. There we go. So we've got Baby Dot from normal eyes, which are good, to just a slight adjustment, which is much more realistic. And it's fun because if I want to, I could come back and make them crazy.